Dexter is a show that I don't think I've made a video about yet. And I have considered making a video about Dexter, but the thing is, I found out there's books to Dexter, and while I know they're not the same, with the show, I do want to make a video comparing the book to the show. Not only that, I've heard that only the first 4 seasons are good, while everything else just goes downhill from there. And the sequel show wasn't good. That I watched. And I have a bone to pick with that show that it might get a video, but that's besides the point. They are making 2 more Dexter shows. The one we're getting currently is Dexter Original Sin, about Dexter when he was first starting out. We'll get to see all of our favorite characters like Batista and that lady. What was her name? Whatever. The point is that we're getting a prequel show to Dexter, and Christian Slater is playing Dexter's dad. Hey, Christian Slater. I have a crush on him. But besides Original Sin getting a show, we're actually getting a 3rd show from New Blood. So, because no one liked the ending of New Blood, and no one liked the ending of Dexter either. So Dexter Resurrection is coming up soon. It'll head into production in January of 2025, and it'll be released on Paramount Plus with Showtime next summer. And of course, our main man, Michael C. Hall, will return as Dexter Morgan as he fights for his life after being shot by his son, Harrison. Dexter has always firmly been the anti-hero in the series, but his actions towards the end of Dexter New Blood suggest he might be set to become an actual villain. And apparently this idea could work very well. The only stumbling block to proceeding with this angle in Dexter Resurrection is the plan to continue Dexter's journey across multiple seasons. And fans likely won't go with Dexter's villainous edge long term. Having said that, framing Dexter as the antagonist would work, especially if key characters like Batista and Matsuka are reintroduced into the story. Here's the thing though, Dexter was essentially the villain in the 2nd season of the original show. You see, back in 2007, so when I was 4 years old, Dexter was heading into its sophomore season, with expectations very high after the breakout first run. Fans were eager to find out who the big villain would be in Dexter Season 2, and they were very shocked to discover that it was Dexter Morgan himself. Sort of. When the dismembered bodies of multiple victims were found at the bottom of the ocean in the iconic location of Miami, law enforcement branded it to be the work of the serial killer who they named the Bay Harbor Butcher. Of course, Dexter is the Butcher, and he spent the whole season trying to avoid suspicion. So technically, he was the villain, yet also the protagonist, and this created one of the most exciting storylines in the history of the Dexterverse. That's what they call it. Dexter's love interest, Lila Tonray, ended up being the ultimate villain in the show as she killed Dokes, but let's not forget though that Dexter was already going to frame Dokes as the Butcher and was possibly facing up to having to kill him as well. Dokes was the antagonist in many ways, but he didn't fit Dexter's code. It ended up dying because he tried to bring a guilty man to justice. Dexter is very much the villain in Season 2, and the audience are guilty for rooting for him to succeed. The following seasons introduced killers much more deranged than Dexter, and audiences were never in doubt about their allegiance to the serial killer with the code. However, it might be time to change the format somewhat and frame Dexter in a different light in Resurrection. He did cross the line in New Blood when he killed an innocent man, so Resurrection could expand on this and frame him as the villain. You see, Dexter Season 2 worked really well as it essentially turned the protagonist, Dexter, into the villain. It was a ultimate smart move for the age of anti-heroes. Audiences have been rooting for bad people on television screens for many years now, and Dexter's return and resurrection could push the boundaries even further and turn him into the main villain. Dexter was already on a dark path in New Blood, with the unjustified killing of, spoiler alert, Coach Logan, after he was outed as the real Bay Harbor Butcher. It isn't known what the plot of Resurrection will be, but it'll likely see Dexter running from the authorities. Of course, there will probably be the introduction of another villain who doesn't possess Dexter's code, who will go head-to-head with him. However, Miami Metro Homicide and the rest of the law enforcement community will probably be more interested in bringing Dexter to justice, seeing as he is one of the most prolific serial killers of all time. This isn't to suggest that Dexter should kill innocent people in Resurrection, as that would absolutely go against his character arc, and turn the audience completely against him. Having said that, similar to Logan's death in New Blood, if it's a choice between escaping or getting caught, Dexter's dark passenger could feasibly cross the line, and that would naturally make him more villainous. The creative team behind New Blood were seemingly pushing towards making Dexter the villain at the end of the limited series anyway, and it would be jarring if they pulled back on this in Resurrection, even if this new series is possibly set to run for multiple seasons. Before I end this video off, I'd like to talk about one character in New Blood that might have a key part in Resurrection, and that character is Molly Park.
The Harbor Butcher. You know the nickname, and you know what he did.
For those of you who don't know, Molly Park was a true crime podcaster who came to Iron Lake to investigate the disappearance of Matt Caldwell, who isn't really a main character, but is the person that Dexter kills in the first episode of the show. But she ended up being murdered by the big bad guy in the series, Kirk Caldwell, aka Mr. Krabs, aka Hank from Detroit Become Human, aka Lex Luthor. You name it. I don't know if what you know Clancy Brown for. I know him for being Lex Luthor, Mr. Krabs, and Hank from Detroit Become Human, and of course the guard from Shawshank Redemption.
Me back!
Are you hurt, Mr. Krabs?
No, I'm just doubled over in pain, fighting back tears in my eyes because it's a new dance craze!
But anyways, what exactly was Molly's thing in the show besides being a true crime podcaster? Well, Molly had a series called Marry Fucking Kill, and she rocked up in Iron Lake to offer her investigative skills to Chief Angela Bishop, who's one of the main characters in the show. She was scouring the location for inspiration for an episode based on the disappearance of Matt Caldwell, who was killed by our boy Dexter. Little did she know, she was entering a town where not one, but two serial killers were sighted. Harrison Morgan listens to Molly's podcast and ends up stumbling upon an episode based on, spoiler for season 4, the Trinity Killer who killed his mom, Rita Bennett. It's also revealed that she's covered the Bay Harbor Butcher case and the Ice Truck Killer, among other real-life true crime cases. Spoiler for season 2, or season 1. I think he was in season 1. No, season 1. The Ice Truck Killer was Dexter's brother, Brian. And, of course, the Bay Harbor Butcher's Dexter. A problem I have with the show is when they killed her, another spoiler. If they hadn't killed her, I agree with Game Rant. If they hadn't killed her, she could have played a very interesting role in the upcoming sequel, Dexter Resurrection. Her knowledge of Dexter's crimes would have made her a vital resource for Miami Metro Homicide in their investigation. However, the Dexterverse doesn't mind bringing back deceased characters, whether it's as Dexter's ghost or via flashbacks. In Molly's case, she could be brought back using her podcast appearances, and it'll be a very good way to still feature the popular character from Beyond the Grave. Even if it was just a brief Easter egg for fans, it would be fun to see the quirky crime fighter again. Jamie Chung, the lady who played Molly Park, recently appeared on the YouTube series Dexter's Kill Room. It's a series where Dexter actors come together to watch old episodes of the show, so this could hint though that there's still plans for her to be used in the future. Paramount Plus are keen to drum up interest in the Dexterverse, with the upcoming release of Original Sin in December of this year, followed by the Michael C. Hall-led sequel series Resurrection in summer of next year. So they have this series, Dexter's Room, where they watch old episodes of the original series with special guests. So far, it's been Eric King, who played Dokes, and C.S. Lee, who played fan favorite Vince Matsuka, appearing in 3 episodes each. The latest episode saw C.S. Lee joined by Jamie Chung, who of course played Molly in New Blood. Jamie Chung is clearly still in the thoughts of the creative team behind Dexter Resurrection, and her appearance on Dexter's Kill Room also puts her back into the hearts and minds of fans ahead of the new series. She offered some brilliant insights into the show, and our chemistry with C.S. Lee was great despite them never actually appearing together in the Dexterverse. True crime podcasts are very relevant in the modern era, and it's definitely a possibility that the character of Molly Park could become an even bigger star in the aftermath of her death in Dexter Resurrection. I don't see a problem with this at all. I didn't really like Molly that much in Dexter New Blood, but she did grow on me until she got killed by Mr. Krabs. So, I do agree with this because, also in the show, Dexter sees Deb, and that seeing her made me think, yep, they regret killing her, because, like, season 8 was a mess. But any season after season 4 was a mess. I mean, I heard season 5 was good, but anything after season 1 through 5 is just, like, bad. But I want to know what you guys think about this. I know this is not in my schedule. I'm supposed to make my That 80s Show video, which is coming next. But I wanted to make this video really quick. Dexter videos will eventually come, just not yet. I have a schedule. I like to follow, please. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video.